Something's been bothering me, though. And it always has since my grandma told me. The cops said Peter did it. And for years, my grandma said the same, but I think she started to have doubts. She once told me that Peter was an angry, jealous, self-entitled snob, but not a killer. It was strange.
Wait, Peter's the one your grandmother killed, right?
Well, in self-defense, yeah. He doesn't even feel like my grandpa. I never even knew him.
So, do you think the killer's still out there?
Closed case. But the way she used to describe those calls.
Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to episode 188 of Mcrae Live. The date today is Tuesday. I think I just spat on my keyboard there. Tuesday, July the 13th, 2021, 12:10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. My name's Dave Mcrae, coming to you live from the VoiceMann Studios in Toronto, Canada. All Q&A today. I wanted to start the week off talking to you guys. What do you guys want to talk about? What's the questions you guys have? In case you're watching this video or the show, I should say, after the fact, and you're like, wait a minute, 188. No, Dave, the last show you did was 186. Well, last Tuesday, a week ago today, I did my 187th episode of Mcrae Live, where I just watched cringy and silly videos online. Now, these videos I didn't create these. These are already on YouTube, and I imagine they still are. And I was live. You were watching me react in the moment. I think it was something different and fun, and I'm definitely going to do it again, although I'll probably screen the video first, just kind of skim through it to make sure there's nothing really too crazy that's going to cause an issue. So during the stream, YouTube cut the stream. Well, it didn't cut the stream, cut the ability for you guys to watch it live. So you're watching me live, and then all of a sudden this notice pops up and says, due to copyright or whatever, the stream has, whatever. But I'm still live. So once the show was done, if you were to watch it back, there was no beat that was missed. I just kept rolling. But there was a couple of clips in something that I was watching. I think one was from the X Factor and whatever. So there's a copyright thing. I understand that. I didn't realize that's what it was, but I get it. I totally understand it. But there was also this thing. So the show was done. It was up for everybody to see. And then I got a notification from YouTube about 2.5 hours later saying that the show has been removed. It was taken down, not because of copyright, but because of a violation against the child and safety policy with YouTube. And I thought, violation of child and safety YouTube policy? I mean, whenever I upload a video, whenever I go live, I always make sure, well, maybe you don't, but for those of you that upload to YouTube, there is a thing that you have to check now. We have to check, say, is this acceptable for children? Is it not? Blah, blah, blah. And mine always says no, because I'm dropping F-bombs every 5 seconds, potentially, on what I'm talking about, how passionate I am, right? So I'm always like, no, of course this isn't for kids. And same with my live stream. So I thought, what the hell did I violate? What the hell? The only thing I can think of, and I could fight this, and maybe I will. I don't know if there's a expiry date of when you are able to fight it or not, but I just didn't want to give them the satisfaction. The only thing I can think of was I was reacting live. Now, I had seen this video before, but I'd totally forgotten about it. But I was reacting live to a very inappropriate host. His name is Fergie Oliver. And he hosted he's Canadian, and he hosted a Canadian game show for kids back in the 80s called Just Like Mom. And it was essentially a mom and a young daughter, 5 to 10 or something like that, would go on this show and they would answer questions about each other. And then there would be like a bake off at the end where the kid would have to bake something and mom would have to eat it. And sometimes it was good and sometimes, it was a cute little show, right? And I remember the show. I think it ran for 2 or 3 seasons in the mid 80s. And I remember it, but of course, being a young kid at that time myself, I didn't realize how creepy and inappropriate Fergie Oliver was to these young girls, always asking them for a kiss and things like that. And it was eerie, it was creepy, it was weird. And of course, when you edit the film, they also, whoever uploaded the clip, edited it to make it look a little creepy. I'm not that you needed it, but I'm just saying, you know how you do that, right? You slow things down and, really hone in on creepy stuff. And he is being wildly inappropriate. But that's not my video. I'm just reacting to it. I was just reacting to it. That's the only thing, because I don't know if they felt that I was mocking pedophilia and by the way, Fergie Oliver has not been charged with pedophilia or being a pedophile or being he's as far as I know, he's never been charged. I looked at his Wikipedia page. I Googled him. He's still around. He's in his 60s, I think now. And he's never been, so I don't know if the YouTube algorithms or I guess it wouldn't even be the algorithms. Maybe it was the human reviewer, I would assume, thought maybe I was mocking it or something like that. I wasn't mocking. I mean, yeah, I am watching it and I'm commenting on how wildly inappropriate it is, but it's not like I was sitting there going, oh, come on, there's always room for a little bit of this. I mean, like, come on, right? But of course, that's where context and nuance is completely void now. But that's the only thing I can think of that maybe was an issue. But the stupidity of it, the irony of the whole thing is they took my video, not just blocked it, removed it from YouTube. It's gone, completely gone. But yet the video I was watching is still up on YouTube. The hypocrisy and the inconsistency is just laughable. And this is one of the things that I find most frustrating about today. Whether you're talking about fandom, whether you're talking about cancel culture, whether you're talking about politics, whatever the case is the consistency of lack of inconsistency. You know what I mean? You set rules, you follow the rules, there's no reason why my show had to have been removed. No reason whatsoever. I didn't violate shit. Unless there is something in the policy that says you cannot comment on cringy, potentially uncomfortable men who are being inappropriate to women, or excuse me, to young girls, right? If I can't comment on that, if that's actually in the policy, well, then okay, I guess I violated the policy. But come on, you know what I mean? It's just dog shit. It's bullshit. So I could fight it. There's an area, if you feel you've been unjustly, blah, 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 yes, you can fight. I just don't give a fuck, really, at the end of the day. It's not a show that I care about. It's not a show that I'm like, damn, that's a show that would have got 20,000 views. No, it's a show that would have got 1,200 views. I mean, let's be honest, right? I don't really care about it. It doesn't bother me really at the end of the day. And I really don't want to give them the satisfaction like I give a shit, because I don't. I just think that the reasoning is ironic. We're going to, you can't comment on this, but the guy who uploaded it, that's okay. That's okay. That's fine. That's fine. Unreal. So anyway, that's why this is episode, and I'm not going to pretend like that show didn't happen and go, well, this is technically 187 now. No, it's not. This is 188. I've done 188 of these fucking things. So that's why this is 188, in case you're wondering. Anyway, it's an all Q&A today. What do you guys want to talk about? What do you want to talk about? And also, for the remainder of the week, I couldn't live stream from my desktop or a laptop. Now, I reached out to YouTube and they said, no, everything's fine. Like, we didn't remove your ability to do that. And the only thing that makes me think that they're telling the truth is that I was able to live stream from my phone, but not from my desktop or my laptop. So that, I'm like, YouTube has the ability to remove your ability to live stream, but I don't think they have the ability to be very specific to where. You either can or you can't. It's all tied into your account, right? So you either are able to or you're not. They just hit a button and boom, you can't. But I could from my phone. And I think if it was YouTube that was doing it, then I just wouldn't have been able to live stream from anywhere. But I still find that very suspicious, very coincidental, which is why there were no Mcrae lives last week. So anyway, that's the way it is. But I'm back. I'm the man behind the mask. Fuck YouTube. Like, it's just dog shit. Anyway, it's lame. What do we got going on here? Let's go to the chat room and see what you guys are talking about. Any super chats come in? Hang on, let me just scroll back, make sure I didn't miss anything. No, it doesn't look like I did. Good. Just want to make sure. What do you guys, it's all Q&A today. What do you guys want to talk about? Hey, we got Jake Cornthos. I don't have my glasses on today. Apologies. Dave, have you ever seen The Silent Partner from 1978? No. Great neo-noir thriller set in your neck of the woods starring Elliot Gould, Christopher Plummer, and John Candy. I recommend it. I have never heard of The Silent Partner. I will look into it. Thanks. Robert Thidoff says, Dave, Blumhouse or A24 gives you one choice to remake a Hollywood movie. Would never happen. And the choices are Jaws 3 or Jaws the Revenge. Which lackluster sequel has the best chance to be I would remake Jaws 3, but I wouldn't have it in 3D. I think Jaws 3 as a better, well, I don't know. Jaws 3 or Jaws the Revenge. I really don't know. They're both god-awful movies. I have no idea. If I was doing a direct sequel to Jaws 2, yeah, I'd want the opportunity to remake Jaws 3 to make that sequel right. Yeah, there you go. Kitty Cat Samurai says, do you think they should remake a new original Jaws movie? No, I don't think they should. And here's my reasons why. The number one reason is I don't believe, not that they can't, not that the technology doesn't exist. The technology exists. It's just a matter of how you stylize, your approach to the shark. I do not think that we have mastered in any of the films I've seen. Not that some don't look good. I mean, there's films that look better than others. But when it comes to a Jaws movie today, what made Jaws so effective was not seeing the shark. And that's a happy accident, really, at the end of the day. As we know, Bruce the shark just wasn't working. So you were going to see the shark earlier and more often in Jaws, but you didn't because they had so many issues. So Spielberg had to improvise and figure out creative ways to imply the shark was there without showing it. And it worked in its favor. It was very Hitchcockian. It was very, theater of the mind, and it was very effective. And that kind of thing, although that approach really is very far and few between nowadays when it comes to horror or thriller films. Whenever you do something like that, it is generally favorable to audiences. Audiences generally enjoy that journey, that experience of the movie. Maybe the movie's not very good. Maybe the ending is sort of a letdown, but the journey to get to wherever you're going is very intriguing and suspenseful, and because we all, it's that theater of the mind, right? I don't think they would do that approach today with Jaws. I think you would see the shark early. I think you'd see it more often. The original Jaws has one of the most terrifying openings to this day ever of all time. And you don't see the shark. It's implied. It's frightening as fuck. It's fantastic. So that's one. Another reason is because I don't think they've mastered the look of the shark in terms of the way. I don't think we've mastered CGI sharks. And obviously they're not going to build a mechanical shark. Why would you do that when you can CGI sharks? I think in a lot of the films that I've seen, granted, to be fair, it's not a movie that is supposed to be serious, right? Whenever you see like sharks and like and not that I've seen Aquaman, but I've seen clips of Aquaman with the sharks and things like that. Whether it's Aquaman or the Meg or, Sharknado, which that doesn't really count because that's supposed to be off the wall bananas anyway. But the sharks look fake, and it's because they're moving too fast, and it just doesn't look like a real shark. So if you're going to CGI a shark in Jaws, and you're playing it straight, you're playing it serious, this thing's got to look fucking real. At no point do I think, oh, yeah, okay. No, fuck no. This thing's got to look 100% through and through, because the second I don't believe in that shark, the second I know it's CGI, I'm out. I'm done. Because of how serious the film is supposed to be. It doesn't matter if you think the sharks look a little wonky in Aquaman. It doesn't matter if you think the sharks look wonky in Sharknado. It doesn't matter if you think the sharks look wonky in the Meg. It doesn't matter, because the whole absurdity of it's the type of movie it is. You know what I mean? You forgive it because it's Sharknado. It's the Meg. It's Aquaman. Nobody cares if the sharks are a little kind of, nobody cares. But when you're doing fucking Jaws, where you're playing it straight, yeah. I think that's, I don't think do I think the technology exists to do it right? Well, of course. I just don't think they've done it, in my opinion. And another reason for me is the original Jaws is really, because Spielberg not that it wasn't written like this before, but I don't know if I have no confidence in the casting, not yet anyway. Jaws is I know people like to refer to it as a horror movie, and I get why, I do. But it's a thriller drama is what Jaws is, at its core. I understand that if you walked into the video store in the 90s, you'd find it in the horror section. I get that. There are definitely horror elements to it. But I mean, it's got there's drama to it too. Great character development. And if you are going to play the theater of the mind approach, then you better make sure that your characters are really well developed, because we're going to be spending a lot of time with those characters. And, you cannot have lackluster 1.5 two-dimensional characters if we're not going to, and spend a lot of, because it's going to get boring, right? If you're going to be playing the theater of the mind with the shark, when we're not with the shark, which is the vast majority of the time, we have to be very invested, emotionally invested, interested in these characters. I don't know if they're going to do that. Jaws to me today feels like they would remake Jaws and it would be some like action thriller, It's just like, I'd have no fun. I just don't care. And I hate to say this, yeah, there's a few little moments where the shark in Jaws I'm not talking about the shark in 4, and for whatever reason, the shark continued to get more and more fake as the movies went along. But that shark in the original Jaws still holds up. I will fucking die on that hill. I will fucking die on that hill. Now, maybe it's because I'm 42. Maybe if you're 25, you look at the original Jaws and you're like, boring, fake. I get it. Maybe there's an ageism there. I don't know. But I'm telling you, when I watch Jaws, the fucking shark still looks legit to me today. And I don't mean the shots where they used a real shark. I mean the mechanical shark, to me, still looks legit. Yeah, when he's eating Quint and you can kind of see where the jaw is attached a little bit. He's got almost jowls. Yeah, okay, fair. But I think what it is that because the film, I'm so emotionally invested in the characters, I'm so emotionally invested in the drama and the suspense. And by the time we see the shark leap out of the boat, which is, objectively a little strange and weird, and looks kind of maybe, fake, quote unquote, I'm so invested by that point that I don't care. Like it doesn't bother me. It doesn't look or feel as strange as it would, or maybe as it should, because the drama and the suspense and the characters, I'm in. I'm all in by this point. I mean, we're fucking like 2 hours into the movie. I'm invested. I'm in, so it doesn't bother me. Do you know what I mean? Like there's that scene when, like anytime you see the shark like traveling in the water and, you know, and it's like, you know, you're going to need a bigger boat thing where he's, you know, putting the fucking fish into the water and the shark comes, it looks fucking real. Looks like a fucking real shark to me, you know? And there's something to be said about the tangibility of an actual mechanical, physical, you know, organic, touchable thing that's in the water. It looks like it's in the water because it actually is in the water. So how the water falls off of it, you know, how the light hits it, you know, it's all real because that mechanical shark is really there. You know what I mean? Whereas when you're doing a CGI shark, you have to CGI everything. You have to CGI how the water falls off of it. You have to CGI how the light hits it. You know, you have to get everything right. And can we do that today? Yes, but we see it more in, you know, theatrical ways, you know, like Aquaman and The Meg and Sharknado. And I know that The Shallows was, you know, I've seen The Shallows. You know, it's pretty good stuff, you know, but anyway, I know this is a long-winded answer, but that's, you asked. And I'm like, no, I don't think we need it. I think the shark still looks legit. To me, I think the shark still looks legit today in that first Jaws. Yeah, again, there's a few exceptions where you're like, oh, you know, a few little, but overall, still a fucking terrifying movie. Terrifying movie. That's how I feel anyway. That's how I feel. So if you're going to remake Jaws, you got to cast the right people. That sounds like such an overused cliche. You got to cast the right people. How many times have we heard that? But it's true. And you got to focus on the drama and the relationships because that's what it's about. You know what I mean? We were invested in Quint and Brody and Matt Hooper. And we can't, like, that's where it's got, that's the heart of the movie. The shark is second. That's the heart of the movie. All right, Super Chad. I think a couple of Super Chats did come in here. Let me make sure I get them. Real Reveal sends in $3.99, says, theaters are opening on Friday. Are you excited, Dave? Yeah, for those of you that don't know, the theaters here in Ontario, Ontario is the province for, I'm saying this just because I don't know how much people know about Canada or not. Up here in Canada, obviously we don't have states, we have provinces. And I live in Toronto, Ontario. So the province of Ontario, our theaters are finally opening up, albeit to 50% capacity, even though there's never been a case of COVID-19 in the country traced back to a theater. We're opening at 50% capacity. The theater Cineplex, which is the major theater chain up here, it's like our AMC, is livid. They're just like, why can't we just fucking open up? Basically, that's what they're saying. They're like, not one COVID-19 case in the country has been traced back to a theater. Not one. And the theaters in Ontario, in the province of Ontario, have been closed the longest out of anywhere in North America. The theaters have not been open here in 9 months, since 2020. Since what? Last November or whatever it is. Been shut down. It's fucking insane. Am I excited? Nah, I guess. There aren't really any movies I really want to see. So, Black Widow, don't care about it. But Dave! I know. But I don't. I'm not a superhero person, so I don't care about that. What else is playing? I don't know. I'd have to look. See what's playing. I don't think, am I happy they're opening? Yes, of course, I'm happy they're opening. I just think it's, you know, I'm just like, yeah, they should have been open like fucking 5 months ago, as far as I'm concerned. But anyway, or open the whole time. You just, you know, follow rules and regulations. So yes, I am. I mean, I want to get back to the theater. I haven't seen a movie in the theater since The Rise of Skywalker. So I'm really looking forward to seeing a movie in the theater. Song Fan sends in $4.99, says, hey Dave, good morning. Do you think the flashback scenes in H-Kill should have been filmed on location in Pasadena where the original was? Do I think it should have? Well, no, I don't think it's necessary. It would all depend, because the flashback scenes happen, you know, I don't know if this is a spoiler. Well, I guess it might be a spoiler. I mean, I know a lot of things about the film. No, I don't think it's necessary. And I think that when you are, you know, there's several reasons why you shoot in certain places around the country, around the world. People shoot up here in Toronto and Vancouver and other parts of Canada as well, depending on, you know, what location you need and what facilities you need all the time. And one of the reasons for that is because you can shoot you can pretend you're in America, in Canada, and people buy it because we look very much the same. But also because of tax breaks, and also because the Canadian dollar, what is the Canadian dollar right now to the US dollar? Canadian dollar to US dollar. Our dollar right now is, it's 80 cents. It's gone up. It's 80 cents. So our dollar is 80 cents to your dollar. So the US dollar goes further up here, right? You can get more for cheaper. And that's another reason why they shoot up here. And one of the reasons why they shoot in different locations across the US too is because different states will have different tax breaks and things like that. So to shoot in North Carolina or South Carolina, I think they shot the first 18 in South Carolina. I think they're in North Carolina now. Maybe it's the other way around. Carolina is it's also where David Gordon Green and Danny McBride are from, if I'm not mistaken. That's one of the reasons why they went back there. I don't know what the tax breaks are in Carolina, but it's probably pretty good. I know the tax breaks in Georgia are really good, which is why they shoot a lot in Georgia. So to go back to Hollywood and shoot, it's just, you have to, is it worth it? Is it necessary? Are we going to be showing anything that we definitely need Pasadena for? No, they don't need the Myers house because the Myers house is a business now and it's not in the same location. So they reconstructed the Myers house in a soundstage. Okay. You can construct not just the Myers house on a soundstage, but you can construct a whole block. You build a sidewalk, you build lampposts, you put in trees, the stages are big enough to do that. There's a lot of shit that's shot on a soundstage that would blow your mind. You'd be like, really? I thought they were in the fucking forest. And you're like, no, soundstage. Like you take the end of The Force Awakens, right? That fight between Kylo Ren and Rey in the forest. I don't care how you feel about the movie. But that scene where they're in the forest and the snow's falling and the big trees, that's on a soundstage. That was built on a soundstage. That whole thing. They were not in a forest. Those trees were fake. So, it's amazing. So it becomes unnecessary. It becomes almost impractical to then, could they it depends too how involved a flashback is. Sometimes you will have a second or third unit go off and shoot a flashback, right? That happens. But sometimes flashbacks, those things are not heavily involved. There may be a day shoot, not a lot going on. Second units, and sometimes there's third units too, depending on the size of your production. But second units usually will shoot things like that, a flashback, pickup shots, insert shots, while the main unit is capturing the bulk of the film. So to answer your question, I just don't think it's necessary. I think there'd be too many headaches, too many logistical headaches to do that just for nostalgia. You know what I mean? Like it's unnecessary. It's unnecessary to do, right? Halloween was shot in Pasadena because it was 1978 and it was a low budget film, and it was far cheaper to shoot in Pasadena on $320,000 than it would be to pack everything up and go to the actual Midwest to shoot. That would have cost them too much money. They shot in Pasadena not because they loved Pasadena. They shot in Pasadena because we were trying to shoot a fucking low budget horror movie. And to pack our crew up and go to Illinois would have cost way too much money, so that's why they did that. So I just don't think it's necessary. From what I know about it, there isn't anything they cannot replicate on a soundstage in Carolina where they need to. It would be unnecessary. It would be for no other reason than for fans to be like, oh, this is Pasadena. You know what I mean? Like that would be it. And at the end of the day, they don't care about that. They really don't care how you feel about that. They don't care. This is a business. So it's like, well, it's cheaper to do this. It's more convenient. Let's build it here. Let's build it in there. Let's do it. All right, let's do it. Yeah. And I would do the same thing. Unless there was a specific, a very specific reason. You know what I mean? And there isn't at the end of the day. Thank you very much, song fans. Appreciate that. Another super chat comes in from Mendel Goodman. Sends in $2 and says, which one Planet of the Apes remakes Which one? Planet of the Apes remake or original? Oh, I see. Oh, which one of the Planet of the Apes remakes or the original? Well, I adore the original. The 1968 original is fucking fantastic. I actually am somebody that liked Tim Burton's remake in 2001. I think what it is that although it was 2001, I love the fact that they were still using practical effects and makeup on the apes. I thought it was amazing. I actually think that it's a guilty pleasure, I guess. I actually think it's pretty good. But I think it's just Tim Burton doing what Tim Burton does, right? The set design, the costumes was just fucking great. I really enjoyed it. You know, I actually thought it was pretty good. And I actually really enjoyed the, what was it? Rise of the Planet of the Apes? Dawn of, whatever the first one was. Rise or Dawn? I think it was Dawn, maybe. Maybe it was Rise. From 2011. I saw that in the theater. I liked that too. I thought it was good. So, yeah, but that original, though, that original is pretty fucking creepy. That's creepy, though. And I love the ending where they ride up on the beach and they see the Statue of Liberty and he's like, I mean, Charlton Heston is maybe overselling it a little bit. He's a little dramatic, maybe a little, he's a little theater, a little stage acting there, you know? God damn it. No. No, it's a little, it comes across to me as a little theatrical, a little stage, you know, a little Broadway. But it doesn't ruin anything. And it's so good. Like, I mean, it's just like, holy fuck, he's been on Earth the entire time. Wow. You know, and I was a big fan of I haven't watched I can't remember much of the sequels, but as a kid, I loved Cornelius. I was really into Planet of the Apes when I was a kid. And I actually had the like 6-inch action figures, if you will, like, but I was too young to have. My brothers had them. They bought them in the 70s. And of course they passed them down to me in the 80s. And I used to play, I had the doctor, the one with the, you know, the orange hair and all that. I had him as a toy. I had Cornelius. I had, it was cool. It was really, really cool. Yeah, I was a big fan. I like Planet of the Apes. All right, another. Did I get all the super chats? Let me see here. I believe I got. Good Real Hunting. Good Real Hunting sends in $5. Thank you, Good Real. Says, any movie you looking forward to coming out besides Halloween Kills? Keep up the great work. Well, I am looking forward to that. Let's see. 2021 release. Or hang on, movies coming out in 2021. Let's see, movies coming out in 2021. Candyman. I'm looking forward to seeing Candyman for sure. Still haven't seen A Quiet Place 2. Still haven't seen The Conjuring 3. Bond, No Time to Die. I'm looking forward to Ghostbusters. Hello. I'm definitely looking forward to Ghostbusters. Ghostbusters, No Time to Die. Last Night in Soho, I definitely would like to see for sure. What else we got here? What's that one? I don't recognize this poster. Escape Room, Torment of Champions. Oh, I don't really give a fuck about that. It's a cool poster, but I don't care about that. Yeah, so those are some that I'm kind of looking forward to. Those would be some for sure. Jungle Cruise, Matrix 4, I don't really care. F9, I don't care. I didn't see. Spiral, I didn't see. I don't really care. Oh, Dune, definitely. I'm looking forward to seeing Dune. I definitely want to see Dune. I'm kind of looking forward to Sing 2 as well, the animated film Sing 2. I actually quite like the first Sing. I thought that was cute. My girlfriend and I like watching animated films together. Like, we adore, because sometimes the animation is just so funny, you know what I mean? Like, we really like, you know, The Incredibles 2, Sing. Zootopia has got to be one of my favorite animated films of the last, like, ever. I think Zootopia is fucking awesome. I think it's hilarious. I love Zootopia. Surprised they haven't made a sequel yet. Maybe they will, maybe they won't. It doesn't need one, but. Oh, and West Side Story. I'm definitely looking forward to seeing West Side Story because I'm a big Spielberg fan, as you know. So I'm definitely looking forward to seeing his interpretation of West Side Story. Yeah, Yeah, those are some. I mean, those are some of the, populous, big, popular films. I mean, I'm sure there's a lot of independent films that are coming out as well that I would have to look up and see. But those are kind of, your standard, general movie-going audience films. I actually watched the movie I Am Mother on Netflix the other day, and I really enjoyed it. If you guys haven't seen I Am Mother, I highly recommend it. It's a science fiction film with, large concepts and things like that. But I really enjoyed it. I thought it was good. So I recommend it if you guys haven't seen it. David Coe sends in a super chat. Thank you, David. Says, it's annoying in the trailer when Allison says, do it. You can see Michael flinch right before it cuts, making it obvious someone hits him and saves her. Yeah, probably. Yep. Yeah, that's the trailers for you. That's true. Yep, somebody definitely probably. It's probably Karen. Darwin Smith, I agree. Darwin Smith sends in $1. Thank you, Darwin. Tiffany Moses Shante sends in $2 and says, Dave, what are your thoughts on Fear Street 94 and 78? Haven't seen them yet. I have not seen Fear Street 94 and I have not seen Fear Street 78 yet. I will get to it. Eventually, but I have not seen them yet. So, yeah, maybe I don't know. I've heard mixed reviews, so I'm not, look, there's so many films I've yet to see. I haven't seen Dr. Sleep yet. I haven't seen, oh God, I don't know. Let me just put in, let's go 2019 movies. So this is a couple years ago. Let's see what movies here from 2019 that you guys have probably seen that I haven't seen. Glass, haven't seen Glass. Although I did watch a movie on Netflix called Glass, which is a psychological thriller. That's really good. Not Shyamalan's Glass. It's another Glass, which is really, I highly recommend it. Yeah, Dr. Sleep, haven't seen. Joe Rabbit, haven't seen. Actually, I've seen quite a few of these now. Yeah. Yeah, Glass, it was, I think it's 2020? 2021? Maybe it is 2021. Okay, Glass movie. Not that movie. No, there's no, it's not the M. Night Shyamalan one. I think it's called Glass. Maybe it's not called Glass. Anyway, there's a movie on who the fuck's in it? It's not Jennifer Jason Leigh. It's fuck. Hang on, I gotta go to Netflix. I'm going to Netflix. 1 second, guys. I gotta go to Netflix. I'm pretty sure it was called Glass. Of course, the chat room is probably already telling me what it is. You guys seen it? Chat room? You guys seen what I'm talking about? It was really good. Okay, 1 second here. Whoa. Netflix. Why are you doing that? Glass. Oh, maybe it's not called Glass. I thought it was called Glass. Maybe it's not called Glass. It's not showing. No, it's called Run. It's called Run. Excuse me. Why did I think it was called Glass? That's weird. That's so weird why I thought it was called Glass. I must have seen Glass, the word glass next to there's something that must have thrown. No, it's called Run. That's right. Because I talked about it on this channel. It's called Run. And it stars Sarah Paulson. That's it. If you guys haven't seen Run on Netflix, I highly recommend it. Watch Run on Netflix, starring Sarah Paulson. Really good psychological thriller. I think you guys will enjoy it. I really do. I think you guys will enjoy it. So, yeah, those are some there. What else we got? What do we got going on? Split is a masterpiece, Duke Fleet. Masterpiece. I'm not saying you don't feel that it is. I just, whenever I hear the word masterpiece, I think it's to me, the word, I'm not saying you're entitled to feel that way. I'm just saying for me, the word masterpiece is tossed around like people toss around the word iconic. It doesn't really mean anything anymore. You know what I mean? Like there are people that would say like, Chris Pratt is iconic. No, he's not. He's not iconic. He's not iconic. There are, just because somebody's famous or well-known doesn't mean they're iconic. You know what I mean? Or a legend. A legend. No. It doesn't mean that. It doesn't mean that. But we live in a world now where we loosely toss around so many terms. You know, people could say like, like Denis Villeneuve, right? You know, he directed, Dune and Prisoners and Arrival and fuck, he's a legend. No, he's not. No, he's not. He's not a legend. He's not iconic. No, he's not. No, he's not. I'm not saying he's not a great director. You know what I mean? But there's, we gotta, Jack Black isn't a legend. You know what I mean? Jack Black isn't a legend. I heard somebody try to make that Jack Black's a legend. He's not a legend. He's a funny, well-known, famous comedian. Whether he becomes a legend in time, but people just toss around terms all the time. It's a legend. It's iconic. It's like, no, fuck, guys, come on. Okay, it's got to be reserved for specific. Yeah, it's fucking amazing, man. It's fucking amazing. Yeah, man, the fucking movie's a masterpiece. Dude, it's fucking White Chicks. What the fuck are you talking about? Yeah, it's a masterpiece. It's like, dude, can we just Joseph Esposito, no nuance. It's true. It's just everything is either and again, dude, if you think Glass is a masterpiece, I think that's amazing. There's nothing wrong with that, right? Because, you can make the argument, well, it's a masterpiece to me. It's like, okay, well, but that doesn't make it objectively so. You know what I mean? I think for me, when something is a masterpiece or when somebody is a legend or iconic, you generally don't have to debate it. And there's specific reasons. They've fundamentally changed the direction of, something. You know what I mean? Like, we know that Spielberg is a legend, and we know why. He changed cinema. There is an argument to be made. If it wasn't for Spielberg, we wouldn't have the movies we have today, because it's not just the films he directed, it's the films he produced. It's his cultural, the name itself, the name itself means something. Do you know what I mean? And guys, that's an example, but there's just because somebody is famous or well-known doesn't mean they're legends. Justin Bieber is not a legend. Okay. Anyway. Brandon Barry, George Clooney as Batman equals legendary. I would disagree. All right. What do we got here? Let's see. Let's get a couple of non-super chats in here. Joseph Esposito says, Dave, I find you very wise, so I'd love to hear your commentary on the prevalence of cancel culture today. Why can't people have different opinions? Well, I am not informed enough on cancel culture to give a real informed opinion, but I can just say that, again, there are two sides to every coin. Just because, a gay couple is in a movie doesn't mean it's woke. I think there are two sides to the coin here. There are people that I do believe that there is a subsidiary, there is a culture that is rabid in terms of wanting to eliminate that lacks nuance and lacks context. And there is a deliberate not inherent. It can be, but there's a deliberate war against nuance and context. And I think most people are ill-informed. Most people are not informed. Most people shoot from the hip. They react emotionally. They're not informed. And the lack of nuance and context is destroying our culture. That doesn't mean, like I've said many times, that you can use nuance and context as an excuse, for bad behavior, to just say whatever you want in front of whomever you want, and then, you can just go, context, come on. No. Again, but in order to understand that difference, you have to have context and nuance. Do you know what I mean? It's like a catch-22. So people like to glom onto buzzwords, and they like to glom onto and just ride the waves and what's hip and what's in and what's current and what's hot. And I think there are a lot of people that, well, there are, they see a woman in a lead role, and there are people that lose their shit. Feminism. It's like, dude, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, well, you don't know what you're talking about, And so there's that extreme, right? There's two extremes, and that becomes a problem in and of itself. Does woke culture exist? It does, but it doesn't exist to the degree for which some people are making you think it does. Not every woman that's cast in a lead role is because they have to pander. Not every gay, that's a gay couple. No, it doesn't, guys. It doesn't mean that. It doesn't, right? So again, there's the two extremes that I think is problematic. I think it's just the extreme nature of our society, whether it's politics, whether it's entertainment. It's just, we live at the extremes. We live, the internet and the ability to chat in a chat room right here has, and I say this with all due respect to everybody, okay? Now, I'm not saying this to anybody specific in the chat room. I don't know you guys. I don't know how informed or ill-informed you are. But the internet, whether it's forums, whether it's Reddit, whether it's chat rooms, whether it's Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, has allowed people to think their opinions matter, has given people the impression that what they have to say is important. And the vast majority of the time, it's not. Because most people are ill-informed. Most people don't know their asses from their elbows, what the fuck they're talking about. And you can tell because of the way they structure their arguments. You can tell that they're just reciting buzzwords. They're reciting common, things that is just recited through media or recited through Facebook posts or, recited through comments. They're not thinking for themselves. They're not cross-referencing. They're not, looking. They're just speaking for the team they're on, and you see that in entertainment, you see it in politics, you see it across the board. And I'm not sitting here saying that I'm the be all and end all of it. No, there's a lot of things I don't know about either. But I've always tried to come at my channel and my arguments from an informed position, because I want to be able to have sound arguments, and most people don't do that. Because they don't care. They don't have the time. They just read what they read on a headline. How many times have you seen and you see it a lot. You see it all the time. How many times have you seen a headline from a news source and then you read the comments and you can tell who's actually read the article and who hasn't? You see it all the time, right? That's the problem. Now take that and put it just out there. The internet is an amazing place. The ease of access to information, the flow of information is fantastic. But there is also a problem where we've created this subculture of opinions. And most of it is just noise. Most people are not informed. Most people are ill-informed. And most people only watch videos and channels and read articles that just confirm their bias. It's called confirmation bias, right? Most people will only watch, very few people will read negative reviews or watch people speak negatively, or, even in a constructive, well-informed way about movies they love. We only surround ourselves with people that tell us what we want to hear. Right? That's in politics, that's in sports, that's in entertainment, it's across the board. And I'm not saying I'm not guilty of it either, but over the last, as I've gotten older in my life, I've always tried to watch and listen to people that I don't agree with too, and that maybe open my eyes to certain things like, that's true. How many people here, if you are a die-hard Halloween fan, love the first movie, do you ever watch negative reviews? Some of you probably do. And I don't mean theatrical, I mean well-constructed think pieces on why Halloween maybe isn't that great or why it's pretty dated now. Do you? Most probably don't, you know. Not to say that Halloween, look, there are think pieces that strive to just create drama. But the point I'm making is, to answer the question, the point I'm making is that the subculture exists, but because we are in a very 0 to 100, 1 out of 10 or 10 out of 10 culture now, the lack of nuance and context has allowed everybody to just and throw up and get angry over things you just don't need to be angry over. You know, I mean, I can't tell you how many times I've seen people trying to blame Kathleen Kennedy for Harrison Ford's shoulder injury. You know, it's like, oh my God, let it go. But they have invested interests in a lot of these things too. You know what I mean? It makes them money. It clicks. You watch. People watch. So they keep making it. Anyway, yeah, no, it's fascinating, but it's a if you take anything away from what I've just said, it is, I believe there is a deliberate war on context and nuance, the removal of that from society. Because when you remove context and nuance from society, you are able to black and white everything. And then everything becomes it's either this or it's this. No, but what about, no. You know, and it's like, but that's not life. And what worries me, now I don't have any kids, but what worries me is that if you're bringing up kids in a very black and white society, no pun intended on the race issues we're having, but if you're bringing up people to void of nuance and context, man, it's not a society I want to be a part of. It's not a society I want to live in because there's so many gray areas. There's so much nuance. There just is. And again, that's not an excuse. There just is, you know? So that's what frightens me the most. That's what frightens me the most. The war on context and nuance. It's crazy, man. It's crazy. Thanks for your question, by the way. Thanks for your question. I appreciate that. The Sound Painters Studio. Oh, the Sound Painters Studio is talking to Chips. All right. Well, it's great to see the Sound Painters Studio here. I've never seen the Sound Painters Studio before. Ellen Brad says they do negative views on movies other people like because of the amount of action and how good the action POV is. I'm not quite sure I understand your statement, Ellen. Tom Ungurian says, Dave, you say fascinating just as much as I say, you know what I'm saying. It's fascinating. Well, it is. There's a lot of shit that's fascinating. Jake Corinthos, I think. Dave, do you think it was a mistake for H18 to have Myers locked up in Smiths Grove? I think they should have just said he disappeared into the night only to have him return without warning. Well, the problem with that is that they're erasing all of the supernatural sequels. So, you know, again, when we go back to the original, he is human. He's a human. People have to understand that, again, that movie was just a one-off film. You know, it was supposed to be. He was a human being, but he had the supernatural edge. Living in and I know that's hard for some people because we're trying to black and white everything. The ambiguity, the unknown of the character is the character. You are, or were anyway, with that original movie, supposed to live in a world of ambiguity. You were never supposed to know. You know, how many times have you heard me say this? But it's true. The ending of Halloween, that was the ending. He wasn't gone to set up a sequel. I think young people today, and again, I know that sounds really pretentious, but I don't mean it to sound that way. But I think there are a certain section of the movie-going audience today that have grown up with movies that when there's a cliffhanger, you think, oh, it's set up for a sequel. But that's not what was happening. The arc was complete. Laurie's arc was complete. Michael's arc was complete. Everything was complete. So, you know, it's just... I think it would have been strange if he just walked off into the ether and he just showed up again with his mask in a jumpsuit. No. We'd have him, you know, how is he surviving? How is he eating? How is he peeing? Now, although you don't need to know that when you make him literally supernatural, like when you get to 4 and 5 and 6, and and even after, even H2O, which was a direct sequel to Halloween 2, it was kind of strange, not to acknowledge the fact that he burned in a fire and he's not burned. I mean, that kind of stuff's kind of lame. But it goes to show you how much an audience will forgive. So no, I think it was appropriate. My only issue is I don't want to see him captured. And I can't say too much. My only issue is I don't want to see him captured. You don't have to show him captured. You don't have to show him captured. Like being obtained, I mean. In 78. Another thing I see too, people are saying that Laurie's line in the Halloween Kills trailer means, he's becoming supernatural. I don't think people understand. He was still supernatural in H18. Now, what I mean by that is that he still had the slight supernatural edge. I know you didn't really see a lot of it. That was the problem, right? Is that you didn't see a lot of that there, not there. They didn't utilize the supernatural edge in H18 a lot, which I think left people to believe that he was just human. Like, no, he still had that. They were just going back to the original character, which is that balance, right? He's human, but he's got that, what is that? It amazes me how many people need to know. No, I have to know what it is. No, you don't. Okay. All right. Well, if you want to know what it is, just be prepared that you might think it's dog shit. The best thing they could do, the best fucking thing they can do for the character of Michael Myers is not to reveal the what. Even after Halloween ends, Michael, if he dies, he dies. If he dies, he dies. Rocky IV. They should never know. Never know. I know there's a certain section of the movie-going audience that'd be like, no, we need to know. It's like, why though? Why? Okay, but what if you don't like it? What if you think it's dog shit? What if you're like, that's fucking bullshit? That's what it was? A cult? He should just live in, that's what makes him different. Michael should live forever in ambiguity. That's how I see it. Live forever in ambiguity. Tito Reyes says, he's obviously supernatural. At least I saw it that way. Well, he's supernatural. Again, we have to define what supernatural is. That's one thing too that I try to let people know. It's not that Mike, yes, by the time you get to Halloween 5 and 6 and, he's like, there's a real he's basically supernatural. But in the original intent of that character was, you hear it all the time, right? And I know people are going to roll their eyes when I say this, but slight supernatural edge. Well, what does that mean, right? Let's break that down. What does it mean? Well, it means that there's a certain level of ambiguity, right? Which means that there are certain things about his character that would lead one to believe would be very difficult for a normal human to do. Not impossible, but there are just certain creepy things that this individual does that makes you go, That's it. You know what I mean? Really, that's it. He's not levitating. He's not shooting laser beams out of his eyes. He's not like, it's just, it's like, well, that's weird. Do you know what I mean? Wow, that's strange. He gets shot 6 times, falls off the balcony. The balcony. He gets up, he's gone. That's weird. How did he, Some people like to use the getting stabbed in the neck with a knitting needle as nobody could survive that. Dude, he gets stabbed in the neck with a knitting needle. Okay, he's not getting, there's no evidence that he was stabbed in the jugular. He just stabbed in the neck with a knitting needle and he falls down. It's not like you're like seeing blood spraying out or whatever. The only trauma that Michael faces in that first movie that is really suspect would be not even the stabbing in the abdomen. Not even that. Listen, there's many cases of people getting stabbed in the abdomen and surviving. many. Just watch fucking 48 Hours, Dateline, Crime Watch. Just watch it. There's lots of people that have been stabbed and survived. Worse than that, right? It's the getting shot 6 times and falling off that's your big one. If you want to point to anything really like, whoa. Now, have there been examples of people getting shot 6 times and getting up and yes, there have. And surviving. Without medical attention, that's where it gets a little weird, right? But then again, at the end of that first movie, we didn't know there was going to be a second movie where he was going to go to a hospital and go on and on and on, right? So anyway, the point I'm making is that when we talk about Michael Myers in that first movie, which is what Halloween 18 was a direct sequel to, it's all about supernatural. Well, let's define it, right? Well, it was defined years ago by Carpenter. The exact words were slight supernatural edge. He didn't want to make him totally, because when you give somebody, when you keep the ambiguity there, it's creepier, it's eerier, right? He's scarier that way, because you don't know. It's the unknown. He lives and relishes in the world of the unknown. And so when people say, is Michael supernatural or not, it's not exactly right. It's not like, define supernatural. What do you mean by supernatural? That's a spectrum, like Emperor Palpatine is supernatural, you know what I mean? Like, what are we defining here? So that's how I feel. Yeah, the slight supernatural edge. It's a slight supernatural edge, is how I see it anyway. It's how I see it. It's how I see it. Maybe that's not how you see it, but that's how I see it. Gary Rangel sends in $2, says, James Jude is second best. Myers, Nick will be my number 1. James Jude Courtney is amazing. And after Halloween Ends, he will have played Michael Myers the most out of any other movie. But Nick Castle does have a cameo in Halloween Kills. It apparently was not cut. And if Nick Castle gets a cameo in Halloween Ends, which I don't see why you wouldn't, he will still have played Michael technically the most. But fun stuff nonetheless. Fun stuff nonetheless, ladies and germs. 50 Cent 9 times. Yeah, I hear people say that. Yeah, 50 Cent 9 times, 50 Cent. But he also got medical attention as well, right? But again, let's understand that it's the when people, at least for me, when I talk about the supernatural element to Michael, you hear me define it a lot, right? Like I will define what I'm talking about, what I'm going into. That's because there's nuance there. It's not black and white. He's not Freddy. He's not Jason. There's something there that's eerie, that's creepy, that's like, what is that? And it's that not knowing, in my opinion, in my professional Halloween PhD opinion, that has to be preserved. Because the second you let it out of the bag, you're going to please some people, you're going to piss off others. So why take that risk? Just keep it there. Keep the ambiguity there. Keep it philosophical. That's where he relishes. These fans that want to know what it is, the actual what. No, I need to know what. What is it? I don't understand. I really don't understand. We just have two different standards, I guess, in terms of needing to know. I don't need to know. And again, people need to understand, because I've seen people try to make the argument with Freddy, Ghostface, and Chucky, and Jason, and it doesn't hold up, guys. We know why Freddy, Jason, Ghostface, and Chucky are doing what they're doing. It was built into their mythology. It was built into their backstory. We knew who Freddy Krueger was and why he was doing what he was doing in the first movie. I mean, they didn't go into the theatrical, son of 100 maniacs or bastard or whatever that, until like the third film. But I mean, it's knowing Freddy, Jason, Chucky, and Ghostface's backstories are part of them. They're not reliant on not knowing. Michael is different. It's different. Let me see here. Meyer says, I enjoyed your interpretations and films on me. Thanks, Dave. You're welcome, Myers. You're very welcome. Don Wilk 91 says, so did Michael know that we know he got caught? Did he now? I'm not sure I understand. Josh McGrath says, Dave, did we ever find out exactly what Jason is? Was he a zombie? How did he become a zombie? Most bodies that get struck by lightning don't come back, or I'm overthinking it. Well, you're definitely overthinking it. I mean, look, we know that at the end of the first Friday the 13th, Jason coming out of the water, that was a dream. I just finished watching Crystal Lake Memories for the first time. I know it's like 8 years old, and I just finished watching it for the first time last week. And great. I mean, it was awesome. But I mean, it said right there, point blank, it doesn't matter what the fuck you think. I know I say that very, very bluntly, but this ownership that fans will sometimes have on a property and try to instill, this is what it is. You can do that all you want, but the creators, the writer of the original Friday the 13th said point blank, Jason coming out of the lake was not Jason coming out of the lake. It was a dream. It was, an illusion. This was going to be like Carrie. This was going to be like Halloween. It was just, the whole idea of making a sequel with Jason as the killer made no sense to them. It made no sense because in their eyes, when they were writing the first Friday the 13th, and as they were writing it, Jason was dead. He didn't see his mother get beheaded. No, he was dead. That was nowhere in the first movie. That's what they made up to justify keeping the story going. And then you could make the argument, say, well, since it is now fact because there is an extension of the story, so it is canon now, because I understand that. I get that. But when we go back to when you watch the movie on its own, and Jason comes out of the lake at the end, that's not real. There's a reason why she wakes up in the hospital bed. Ma'am, we didn't find any boy. Then he's still there. You know what I mean? And then, of course, I know you see like the little, the water and, it moves a little bit. Is it is it air bubbles or is it, a bit of rain falling? I don't know. But that's great, right? But in reality, Jason did actually not come out of the water. He didn't. That's not what was canon. They said it point blank. She was freaking out. She was waking up. She was having a bad dream. So it's fascinating to hear that. Now, again, like I said, you can retcon things, or not retcon things, but extend things to mean certain things, like they did with Halloween. But Jason just is, he shouldn't exist, really, at the end of the day. I hate to say that, but if you go based on the original intent, right? But he does exist, and Jason is look, in part 2, he was a man. In part 3, he had been working on his traps. He was some weird, I don't know what Jason is. I guess he's just a zombie. He's a zombie, I guess. The evolution of Jason Voorhees is fascinating. Do you know what I mean? And the continuity and the timelines don't match up. And the filmmakers will be the first to tell you that. It doesn't quite make sense that he would be this age and only this much time. And then you have which is another thing too that you have to remember, right? Why is Jason still a boy coming out of the water? But yet he's like a fully grown man, a few years later. They don't care about that stuff. Anyway, it's fascinating. I think you are overthinking it just as I am right now. But I love me some Friday the 13th. I'm a big fan. I like Friday the 13th. Not really the later sequels. I'm a big 1 to 4 guy, really, at the end of the day. But let's see. Did I miss any other super chats? Just want to make sure I didn't. I don't believe I did. No, I don't believe I have missed any other super chats. Chats that are very super. Very super indeed. Indeed. The Sound Painter Studio says Jason was intended as a ripoff of Michael. No, he was a ripoff of Michael. Like all the other slashers of the 80s except Chucky and Freddy. Well, again, it's A Nightmare on Elm Street was the same in the sense of that horror movies and slasher movies were hot. So, in some way you could say that Freddy is too. Chucky is too. They all are. I mean, not directly, but in a lot of ways, the golden age of slashers, which is, essentially 78 to 88, somewhere around there, 85, 86. And then when I give those dates, I mean that I know there's slasher movies in the late 80s and early 90s, but there's a trajectory, right? So from about 74, let's say, with Black Christmas and Texas Chainsaw, didn't do much. 78, Halloween, now we're on this trajectory up, right? 78, 79, 80, 81, 82, 83, 84, 85. It's about 86 when we start to make that turn. 87, 88, 89, 90, 91. And then, we're heading downwards, right? So that golden age of slashers, where it was like all the rage, was really like, late 70s to like 85, 86. And then people were getting tired of it. Which is why a lot of those later films didn't do very well. But yeah, no. I mean, the original Friday the 13th, absolutely. Sean S. Cunningham said, listen, Halloween, I mean, wow, we can make bank. Let's do it. You know what I mean? And it's just sort of, these things are, it's a snowball, right? Wes Craven knew. I mean, Wes Craven's story, and maybe that's what you mean. His story was not directly taken from Halloween, but the idea to do a slasher movie in 1984 would only have been because slasher movies in the 80s were profitable. Some of them. There's a lot of garbage out there too at that time as well. But certainly he just wanted to get in on the game. You know what I mean? So they all were inspired by and let's not forget, Halloween owes a huge debt to Black Christmas. Just saying, all you Halloween fans out there that think the original Halloween is the granddaddy, well, from a certain point of view. Chastity Smith says, I always took it that Michael Myers was meant to appear as an enigma and meant to stay that way. It was meant to make you wonder what makes him do the things he does. His mysteriousness, I think, stays intact. Yeah, I agree. I've said that all along. That's the way it should be, ladies and gentlemen. That's the way it should be. We should never, ever know. Johnny Melancholy says, I have yet to watch Godzilla King of the Monsters. Only one I haven't seen. I like Godzilla King of the Monsters better than Godzilla vs. Kong. I thought Godzilla vs. Kong was fine, but I like Godzilla King of the Monsters better. I just do. It's just a better movie, in my opinion. What else we got here? What else we got, folks? Got about 15 minutes left in the show. I might have to get off slightly earlier because I have to go to the washroom, but we'll see. Let me see. I'm trying to get somebody I haven't seen before in here, which is great. I do see a lot of new faces, so that's amazing. A lot of new avatars. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome. Michael Doherty says, is Texas Chainsaw considered a slasher? Yes. It would be. Just because there's no blood in it per se, the theme, thematically, the tropes, fall into the slasher subgenre. So, yeah, I mean, that's the way it would be. I mean, you look at Black Christmas, and Black Christmas isn't really a slasher really, but it's got some of the tropes, right? So it falls in that. What I don't like is when people try to call things that are, I don't like when, and it's just my opinion, because I know people do it. I don't like when people call Jaws a slasher. And it's like, oh, for fuck's sakes. Again, this is where we just, Jaws, if No, it's not. It's not. It's not. It's not a slasher. But from a certain point of view, it's not. Like, are we that bored that we have to start calling, we have to start saying, well, I'm just going to say this, that from a certain point of view, A Nightmare on Elm Street is kind of like a drama, about this. It's like, oh, fuck off. Stop. Go have a ice cream and watch the birds on a beach or something. Stop this nonsense. Stop it. Forrest Volmer, am I saying that right? Do you think the Halloween Kills trailer showing too much will affect the surprise and feeling of the unknown when actually watching the movie? No. Guys, look, it showed you a lot, but I know quite a few things about that. I haven't seen the film, but I know people who have, and I know a lot of information. You haven't seen anything yet. You have not seen anything yet. So although it did show a lot, there's a lot that happens in that movie that you haven't seen. So take that with comfort. Here's a good one. Balon TV says, what is your favorite restaurant? I like when things come out of left field like that. My favorite restaurant. I don't think I have a favorite restaurant, but when I was a kid growing up, my dad and I used to frequent a restaurant in Ottawa, Ontario called the Newport. And my dad knew the restaurant owner there. And in a lot of cases, we got to eat for free, which was really cool. It was a great restaurant. Like, it had and it was just great. It had like all sorts of like food, you know what I mean? Had the best pizza to this day I've ever had. And it was great. So now it wasn't a chain. It was just one place. So if I wanted to go, I'd have to drive 4.5 hours to Ottawa to do it. But I would say that I have nice nostalgic memories, and the food was great. And they served like great sundaes, big sundaes and stuff. And it was really great. So I would say that would be my favorite. Now, if you're talking about like my favorite chain, I don't know. I don't eat out a lot, to be honest with you. And when I do, it's usually like I'll grab a sub from Subway, or I'll grab something to eat from Tim Hortons, which for my American friends, if you don't know, that's like our Starbucks. We have Starbucks up here too. It's like on every fucking corner, like it is everywhere. But Tim Hortons, for those of you that may not know, because I know it's in the States, but it's not all over the place. Tim Hortons is like on every corner up here, right? It's a donut shop. It serves sandwiches and food and all that too. And sometimes I'll have that. Like, I'll go through the Tim Hortons drive-through and pick up like a sandwich and a chocolate milk. That's like my eating out. You know what I mean? So I don't really have a favorite restaurant. Like, I haven't had McDonald's, and I have nothing against McDonald's. McDonald's is McDonald's. It's fast food. It's fine. It does the trick. But I haven't had McDonald's or fast food. Well, I haven't had McDonald's in probably over 20 years. The last time I had like a fast food, like a burger from a fast food joint, was probably, I'm going to say maybe 4 years ago, when my girlfriend and I were in LA. We went to In-N-Out, and I don't know what the rage is. I really don't. I hate to say it, but I thought In-N-Out burger was crap. Not crap, it just tasted like a regular hamburger to me. And fries. And I know people are like, no, you got to get their secret menu. And I'm like, okay, I got to get their secret menu. I didn't do that. But, if In-N-Out Burger is only good for their secret stuff, I find their other stuff just normal. You know what I mean? So, and that was like, I think that was 2018. So that was, or maybe that was 2019. So maybe it was 2 years ago, actually. Might have been 2019. So yeah, I don't really have a favorite restaurant. I got to be honest with you. I don't really have a favorite restaurant per se. Rick Baker says, hi, Dave. Coffee or tea in the morning? Nice to see you here, Rick. Well, I do not like coffee. I haven't had coffee literally in over 20 years. I've always despised it. I hate the taste of coffee. Love the smell of certain coffee. Hate the taste of it. Never acquired a taste for it. The last time I had coffee was 21 years ago. And again, I had it because I was trying to acquire a taste. Like, whenever I said, like, I've I've made an attempt like 3 or 4 times in my life to drink a coffee to see if I can acquire a taste for it. I fucking hate it. I just think it's an awful taste. It's awful. And then I love the people that are like, oh, no, you got to put like, 3 cream and 3 sugar. It's like, well, then you don't like the taste. Those of you that put 3 cream and 3 sugars in your coffee, well, then obviously you don't like the taste of coffee because you're trying to dilute the taste of coffee with 3 cream and 3 sugar. Bruce, my right-hand man, Bruce, drinks black coffee, loves black coffee. Oh, God. I hate coffee. I hate it. So I do not have coffee in the morning. I do not have tea in the morning. I like tea, though. I do drink tea on occasion, but I don't have anything in the morning. What I have is a nice tall glass of OJ, orange juice, and some toast and some peanut butter or a bowl of cereal or something like that. That's what I do. Yeah, that's it. I don't need to get going in the morning, as you can clearly see. Da, 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 da. Let me see here. What else we got? Trying to get there's some new faces in here. New faces going to new places. Yeah, I would have Michael Doherty says hot chocolate is king. I would have a hot chocolate long before I would have a coffee. That's for sure. That is for sure. Kieran says, Dave, just a quick question. Any idea when the DVDs for It's Me, Billy will be sent out? Well, they're Blu-rays. We are in the process of speaking with our supplier now. So again, I appreciate your patience on this, everybody. We're hoping that we can get these things out. I don't know. We are speaking with our supplier right now, and we are getting prices, and the sleeves and all that are being created as we speak. So it's a process. Again, we're not a studio. It's just myself and Bruce that are doing this. The t-shirts have all come in, by the way. Let me see if I can show you. So as you can see here, everybody who ordered a t-shirt or picked up a perk where you get a t-shirt, as you can see here, the t-shirts have come in. They're all in these bags. And I believe there's about 50 of them, I think. The posters have all come in now. And the posters have come in. T-shirts have come in. What else have come in? Something else. Oh, the hoodies are out of stock. We're waiting for our supplier for the hoodies to be restocked so we can order the hoodies. And then that'll be ordered. And so like it's happening, We're fulfilling the 2 dudes perk, of course. I'm going to be filling the Mcrae live perk soon. It's a process. Appreciate your patience on it. But it's a process. These things take time. And with COVID as well, a lot of things have been shut down here. We're just beginning to reopen. So it's one of the issues that I know that I'm not the only one that's faced that. I know Vincent DeSanti has faced that as well. He's just finally now getting his Blu-rays out to people. And his film came out last October. So it's a process. Businesses have been closed. Orders couldn't be fulfilled. It's a process. So, but we are doing it. We are keeping people posted. And so I'm hoping, I don't really know. I don't like to put it, I'm hoping before the end of the year, maybe in the fall or for Christmas or maybe by the end of the summer. It all depends on what we can get done with things reopening and shit like that, right? So, but we are talking to our supplier right now. Bruce is in the middle of exchanging emails back and forth with him, and he's supplying us quotes and things like that. Because obviously there's like, do you want a single layer Blu-ray? Do you want a dual layer? There's the packaging, there's the printing, there's the menus, you're making a Blu-ray, right? So we got to get the quotes and we got to make sure what's feasible. Do you want duplication or replication or, there's all a lot of stuff that we're talking about with our supplier at the moment. So, but wheels are in motion. That's what I want people to know. That's why I was showing you that, because wheels are in motion. We have not forgotten about you. We appreciate your patience. We love you guys. You guys are amazing. You helped to make this happen. And if the film continues to do well online, we're hoping we can make the follow-up and bookend this baby. And you know, I know that I've talked to the cast that would be returning. I know Victoria has said that she is, yes, I'm excited. She wants to return. And I believe Carol and Brian as well would totally return. So it's exciting. But appreciate your patience. Wheels are in motion, my man. Wheels are in motion. Kieran says, no rushing, just curious on an update. Yeah, oh no, for sure. We will always get, like I posted a couple of photos last week, I think on my social, just showing, you know, the boxes that had come in, just letting people know we're thinking about you. We're doing it. I know it's kind of quiet right now, but we're not twiddling our thumbs. We're working very hard. We're working very hard. All right, 5 more minutes left in today's show, folks. 5 more minutes left in today's show. Apollo Balboa, 1985, says, Dave, many have commented that Myers is a prankster. He dresses up as a ghost and uses Judith's tombstone as a prop. Do you agree? Well, I agree in the sense of I've always seen Myers, he's a predator. He's like a cat. You know, and if you know anything about cats, or if you have a cat, or if you've watched anything on wild cats, or you just know a lot about the feline species, and they're not the only ones that do it, of course, they play with their prey. You know, a cat will knock around a mouse, you know, and sometimes not even kill it. I mean, you know, or just the batting it around ends up killing it, right? But a cat, plays with its prey, and a cat is there, not there. Do you know what I mean? A cat stalks and watches, and a cat's patience is through the roof. My cat Veda, oh my God, the patience she has is unreal. It's amazing, the patience she has. So Myers is very predatory in that way. He's like a cat. So playing with his victims, I've always looked at it because he's, you know, again, going back to the original film, right? The original intent of the character. I don't think he's necessarily playing with his victims and getting his jollies out of it. Like, I don't think he's like, you know, he's like, oh, this is fun. I'm enjoying this. I never saw it that way. I saw it more as instinctual. You know, he gets something out of it in the sense that maybe it's in a sadistic manner, but I don't think that he's like getting off on it. You know what I mean? I see it as just part of the predatory nature of the character, you know, very much like how Billy, although Billy's a bit of a different character, you know, displaying the bodies, of course, that was a bit different. He's a bit different of a character. So that's not really a great comparison, but Michael stalks, lurks, watches. He's a cat, you know, and he plays with his victims. That's how he would play with them. He dresses up like a ghost, and then, you know, that's the Myers equivalent of a cat having a mouse. The cat could kill it, but it bats it around and picks it up and tosses it like it's a toy. You know, Myers sees his victims like toys. You know, he doesn't see them as human beings. They're just, he's a predator, you know, and it's instinctual in a lot of ways, I think, is how I see it. It's how I see it. Anyway. Great question, though. Great question. Let me see here. What do we got? Balon TV says, if I was building a PC to edit and stream with today, I would get at least 32 gigabytes of RAM. You would want to get the necessary processor you can afford to. Are you responding to somebody else? You must be responding to somebody else. I'm not entirely sure. But yes, no, I have my computer. I have the Alien. I don't game, but I have an Alienware computer. It's the Aurora 11, R11, I think it's called. There's 32 gigs of RAM. It has the i7 some 10,000 processor or whatever. It's a beast of a machine. It's got the graphics card is the 3080? RTX 3080 or whatever it is. Is it RTX? Is that what it is? I forget now. Anyways, the graphics card is one of the best you can buy. And I can render up to 8K on this machine if I wanted to. The reason for that is because I do a lot of audio and video editing. So I needed a machine that could do that could take that. I think it's the R11 3080, I think is what it is. Or what is it? Yeah, RTX 3080. That's the graphics card I have. That's a graphics card I have. And it's one, I know they have a 3090 now, which just came out. But the 3080 is a beast of a machine. And it can, it renders, it's great for what I do, obviously. It's Me Billy was edited right here in the home studio. Harry Hagan says, I missed a super chat. I got you, Harry. I got you, my man. Oh, here it is. Buying a PC. Oh, so this is why people were talking about it. Thank you, Harry. He says, buying a PC. What are the specs of your PC? Cores, RAM, video card, using it, video, editing and streaming. Just bought a Mac, 3K, OBS. Is still too slow. Really fascinating. Well, like I said, my computer is, I can tell you, let me just bring this up here. Maybe I can bring it up. Is it this one I have to find out? No, that's that. I need, maybe it's this one. I think it's this one. So, yeah, so system details. All right, I have Intel Core. My CPU is the i7 10700K CPU. Right, so I think there's a few that are a bit higher than that, but this is, it's the i7 10700K CPU at 3.8 gigahertz. My graphics card is the GeForce RTX 3080, and I have 32 gigabytes of memory is what I have. 32 gigabytes of memory, and runs like a hell. It's fine. So I mean, it's an exceptionally powerful machine. Way more than what most people need. But if you're editing, 2K or 4K or 8K or doing a lot of the sound design and the video editing that I do, you have to have it. So, and it's great. Streams flawlessly. I don't have any issues. Where are we here? All right. Yeah. Hey, listen, folks, that is going to do it for me on this episode of Mcrae Live. Little low-key episode today, just answering a few, questions, nothing major, just kind of, starting the week a little on the calm, cool, and collected side. I appreciate all the super chats that came in today, all the non-super chats that came in today, of course. Thank you to my great moderators, Frank Riker, Tabitha Short, Darren Sands, and Chris Baber, for doing what you guys do. I really appreciate it. You guys are amazing. You know you are. I should be back on Thursday at 12 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time for episode 189 of Mcrae Live. What are we going to be talking about? Well, there'll be a topic for that day. And I will let you know on that day. You guys are amazing. Like I said, you are. Thank you for your continued support to the channel. I really do appreciate it. Have a great rest of your Tuesday. Have a great rest of your, And look, there's always an opportunity there. There's always a chance I might be back with a standalone video, a pre-recorded video, that I upload. It all depends what happens in the world. But, I will be back on Thursday, if not. So have a great rest of your day, and I will talk to you guys soon. Alrighty. Cheers. There we go. I was almost about to hit the wrong screen. Alrighty.